And I hope that by the end of the day, this crowd, this people, all of you with your wisdom will have worked out a way that you can bring it into Kent. My belief about Casserole Club is every local authority in the country needs it. Such a simple idea, uses tech, real concern that many people have about older people, isolation, loneliness, malnutrition, one really simple solution. So that's what I love about Dominic, his very, very different approach to how we solve social problems. And my little notes are, first of all, it's about building and nurturing community capital, and both Robert, Dominic and myself, we believe that's what underpins the future. The role of design, tech and change, and this critical issue for all of us to think about today, what is the problem you are trying to solve? Now, for me, it's very much about right care, right place, right time, and a relentless focus on customer service and how we improve services. Is what we've got now good enough? How can we, with some slight tweaks or maybe major radical overhauls, actually improve services that we may also need at some stage in our lives? So, a rocking start to the day there, Dominic, thank you. And as he mentions, he and Mary Baker are doing one of the themed workshops is on community connections, so you can find out more about Casserole Club and the many other things that you can have in your communities next week. We're going to find a way for you all. So I have a brief presentation before we move into the next session, which is on can online innovations enhance social care? I know we're running a bit out of time, so can I just say yes, they can, and today's going to prove it for you. Okay, just sort of the challenge. The care sector has numerous stakeholders, and each of those stakeholders has their own perspectives. Robert talked about the health service. My background is the care sector. But we've also communities, Dominic mentioned about the importance of having the police involved, housing sector involved, and that's one of the important things about today, is that we have people from so many different sectors here being able to talk to each other. What are the common problems? How can we work together? I have enormous respect for the wisdom of people working together. We don't have an overarching vision of how we want care to be. We may have an individual vision about, we think about, well, you know, when I grow older, what do I want to be in place for me? I mean, quite frankly, I'd have to say, what is available now really isn't good enough for me. I'm not interested. So I have a seriously vested interest in improving things in the next 20 years before I need different sorts of care. And technology will be an important part of that solution. And the classic for me, and Dominic alluded to it as well, there's a lot of thinking. There are hundreds of reports, but there's a real gulf between thinking about things and doing. And a struggle we all seem to have is turning ideas into outcomes. You know, you can have the most brilliant sort of notions in the world, but if they're not getting to frontline practitioners to be able to do something with, then we have a major problem. So that is one of the real focus from today. Here are all these ideas. Okay, how can you take them from your workplace, maybe, you know, health and care talk together? Well, that's an interesting idea. How can we do something about it next week? You know, we're not going to commission a report on this, honestly. I can tell you there's 100 reports if you really, really are a person who likes reading reports and research. And they're all telling us the same thing. We've actually got to start putting things into action. And we've got to do it quickly. We don't have years and years to contemplate improving life. We've got budget deficits, we've got a lot of problems, we've got to do things differently. And of course the big challenge, and you'll pick this up as the day goes on with the Twitter stream, service users and carers expect more autonomy and choice. You know, how things have moved on even 5 years. Well, you know, you can have this service, and we've got one of Stu's classics. You know, right, we've got 6 boxes, and we're going to make sure you fit into one of those boxes. No, people want more choice, they want more autonomy, something that Dominic talked about with Enabled by Design. For one of the resources that we cite today is we want something different, we want it more personal. And if we don't get it, I can guarantee then people are going to tell the world through social media that is a rubbish service, that really isn't good enough, and I expect something different that is personal to me. we keep being told about the long period of austerity. I mean, the fact is we have to make serious budget cuts. And we can look at it in terms of, yeah, okay, we've got to cut large amounts of money, but I think what we also have to do, once again, Dominic alluded to it, how much does it cost to fill in a 60-page assessment form and take it to a committee, and take it to a panel, and take it to another committee? We have to work smarter, and that's why it's important that we've got so many innovators in the room with us today. We do not need 60-page forms. They have an enormous cost. We've got to do things much more smartly. That's how we save money, quite simply. And one of the things that people say about technology, well, we're going to lose the personal. No, what it's going to do is it's going to free people up to have a better quality of care. Because if you're not having to spend most of your time on long assessment forms, etc., you have more time to spend face-to-face. And that actually is what people want, what they need. And the obvious one, somehow, for some reason, sometimes health and care sectors don't get this. We are a digitally connected society, and it was a point that Robert made. You don't necessarily, you don't need a laptop to be connected. And this is really interesting when we sort of talk about the figures. How many people can access the internet? They may not do it through a laptop. A lot of us are going to be doing it through smartphones. So we've got that other consideration and a real tension for a lot of websites, public sector websites. They're not suitable for downloading onto a mobile. Check out the Kent one. Tell me what you think about it during the day. How does it look on your smartphone? I'd be interested in feedback. So, my answer, yes, online innovations can definitely improve care outcomes, and we've got the day, we've got lots of exciting workshops, we have got some pretty great people here today contributing, sharing their knowledge and skills. And actually that's what social media is about, the sharing generously of your knowledge, your skills, your passions, and links to other people. So, here we are. End of the presentations. I'm now passing over to, I've got to promote this, I know this. One of the documents that I wrote this year, and something I'm particularly proud of, is I can stand here and say, yes, the answer is online innovations will enhance social care. There's my provocation paper published by the Nominate Trust earlier this year to tell you how and why, and what the challenges are. It's all right, you don't have to read it today, but I'm really proud of it. And I think one of the things I'm proud of about this is it's not just being read by people from the care sector, it is being read by Joe and Josephine public. I get a lot of feedback from people who, I didn't realise care was so interesting, goodness me. It's giving people different perspectives. So, slightly, my little prompt here about, I'm very proud of this paper. I'm told it's very readable. I haven't gone on about 100 papers. Oh God, don't want to read those. Well, yeah, read this one, because this one's good. That one happens to be mine. And finally, the provocation paper was only 15 pages. What James, my co-founder of the Connected Care Network, and I worked out, that there's at least 100 tech innovations that we wanted people to know about. I mean, it's gone up. This was published in February. We're going to update and republish. So we've published a guide to technology for adult social care because we think it's important. And that's available to buy either as an e-book or as a hard copy. And that will give you a background to a hell of a lot more of what is going on today. So those are my little plans.